think about the last time you desperately tried to change your life. Maybe you bought a brand new planner, signed up for an expensive gym membership, or promised yourself you'd finally stop scrolling on your phone at 2 a.m. For the first 3 days, you felt completely unstoppable. You were a new person. And then, day 4 hit. The motivation vanished. The old comforting habits crept back in, and you were left staring at the ceiling wondering, why is it so impossibly hard to just be the person I want to be? We are culturally obsessed with the idea of transformation. We devour self-help books, optimize our morning routines, and chase the next big productivity hack. But what if I told you that 99% of what we are taught about change is fundamentally backward? What if your failure to change has absolutely nothing to do with your willpower, your discipline, or your work ethic? Welcome to the hidden psychology of self-transformation. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why you've been stuck, and you'll discover the invisible biological forces pulling the strings of your life. To understand transformation, we first have to understand the enemy of transformation. And that enemy lives right between your ears. Your brain is an incredibly efficient prediction machine. Its primary goal is not to make you happy or wealthy or fulfilled. Its primary goal is simply to keep you alive. And to the primitive parts of your brain, safety equals predictability. In biology, there's a concept called homeostasis. It's the tendency of a system to maintain internal stability. If you get too hot, you sweat. If you get too cold, you shiver. Your mind has a psychological homeostasis too. Over the years, it has built a highly specific model of who you are, your beliefs, your fears, your financial habits, your limits. When you suddenly try to wake up at 5 a.m., eat completely differently, or act more confidently, you are violently violating that model. You are stepping into the unknown, and your brain interprets the unknown as a literal threat to your survival. That heavy, sluggish feeling you get when you try to break a bad habit, that intense urge to just give up and go back to what's familiar, that is not laziness. That is your brain pulling the emergency brake. It is aggressively trying to drag you back to the old, predictable you. But here's the secret that changes everything. That discomfort you feel is not a sign that you are failing. It is the neurological proof that you are actually changing. When you push past that friction, you trigger neuroplasticity. Your brain literally begins to physically rewire itself. But rewiring the brain requires more than just forcing new behaviors. This is where most people get it completely wrong. They try to change what they do without changing who they are. Imagine someone who deeply believes they are terrible with money. They might read financial books, set up a strict budget, and successfully save for a few weeks. But eventually they will self-sabotage. They'll make a massive, impulsive purchase or start ignoring their bank statements. Why? Because the subconscious mind will always auto-correct your behavior to match your identity. You cannot outperform your own self-concept. Transformation is not a behavior modification project. It is an identity project. If you want to change your life, you have to survive what psychologists call the liminal space. The liminal space is the messy, uncomfortable void between who you used to be and who you are becoming. It's the transitional phase where the old habits feel toxic, But the new habits don't quite feel natural yet. You feel like an imposter wearing a costume that doesn't quite fit. Most people cannot tolerate the sheer anxiety of the liminal space. The cognitive dissonance, the loud clash between the old identity and the new actions becomes too much to bear. So they retreat to the comfort of their past. But if you can sit in that fire, if you can tolerate the awkwardness of not knowing exactly who you are for a little while, the new identity begins to crystallize. Now, to successfully cross that bridge, you have to abandon the most toxic lie the self-help industry ever sold you. The idea that you are broken and need to be fixed. True psychological transformation never comes from a place of self-attack. You cannot hate yourself into a version of yourself that you love. Let's say you struggle with chronic procrastination. You probably beat yourself up, call yourself lazy, and try to punish yourself into working harder. But beneath procrastination is almost always fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or even a deep fear of success. When you attack the procrastination, you push that fear deeper into the shadows. But when you approach it with radical, compassionate honesty, saying to yourself, I am terrified of putting this work out there because I'm afraid it won't be good enough, something magical happens. The psychological defenses drop. Transformation is not about amputating the bad parts of yourself. It's about integration. It's about bringing those hidden, scared, insecure parts of your psyche into the light and realizing they were just trying to protect you. Once you stop fighting yourself, all the energy you spent at war with your own mind is suddenly freed up for actual explosive growth. But psychological insight alone isn't enough. You can have all the breakthroughs in the world, but if you drop a changed person back into a toxic environment, the environment will win every single time. We love the romantic idea of the lone wolf pushing through with sheer willpower. But human beings are deeply porous creatures. Our nervous systems are constantly syncing with our surroundings. If you want to step into a new identity, you must become an architect of your environment. You cannot plant the seed of a new life in the contaminated soil of your old one. You have to aggressively change your inputs. The people you talk to, the media you consume, the spaces you inhabit, they all serve as visual and emotional cues to your brain. If your environment constantly whispers, you are the exact same person you've always been, your brain will believe it. You must deliberately design a world that pulls you toward your future, rather than dragging you back to your past. And here's the most beautiful, breathtaking paradox of self-transformation. When you finally arrive at the place you've been fighting so desperately to reach, when the new habits are effortless, when the boundaries are firmly set, when quiet confidence is just your natural baseline, you will realize something profound. You didn't actually become someone new. All the layers of social conditioning, the fears you inherited from your childhood, the masks you wore to fit in, you didn't build a new person. You simply chipped away the heavy marble that wasn't you to reveal the masterpiece that was there all along. Transformation isn't about becoming someone else. It is the courageous, lifelong process of remembering who you truly are underneath everything the world told you to be. So the next time you look in the mirror and feel that quiet, uncomfortable ache for change, don't run from it. Lean in. The old you is dissolving, and the real you is finally ready to to meet the world.